7 years, Caroline Cossey was a highly paid model in London. She graced commercials, fashion runways and magazines all over the world. Not once did she blow her cover.
Another little turn over your shoulder. Lovely. That's great. That's really nice.
She looks every inch a woman. Long, slender limbs, a sweeping mane of hair, graceful movements. So it takes a stretch of the imagination to picture Caroline's childhood as a boy.
I just didn't fit in with the other boys.
What does your birth certificate say?
Male.
Barry Cossey.
Mm-hmm.
Caroline began her metamorphosis at just 17 with hormone injections and silicone implants. 3 years later, the final touches to her female body were complete.
The operation is like a cosmetic. It's like having a growth, a mole or a wart, something like that, having it removed. Sure, it's painful, but no more painful for me being trapped as a woman living inside a man's body.
Caroline's family supported her from the moment she walked through the door and reintroduced herself.
She came home and her hair was long and beautiful and her face looked gorgeous and she looked all woman. I mean, there's no way you could think that was Barry. No way. It was just wonderful.
For the Cossey family, there was never any trouble adjusting. They understood that Barry's transsexuality was caused by a chromosomal defect, which meant he wasn't completely one sex or the other. To them, it was obvious which sex he should be.
She was so soft and so girly with me. I mean, we shared our dolls together. There's no way she was a brother.
Catching up here.
Yeah.
Like two sisters, Pam and Barry had always dressed up in their mother's clothes, and both grew up to become models.
And she's always advised me and helped me, funnily enough, with various dresses, makeup, hairstyles, clothes and everything. She's just incredibly feminine.
Lovely. That's lovely.
Caroline's career was launched as Tula, and in no time at all the 6-foot model was in constant demand.
For me, it was such an ego thing. I mean, I needed that as an ego boost.
There was even work in the glamorous lineup of Bond girls in the film For Your Eyes Only. But Caroline underestimated the risks of her exposure. The press refused to accept Tula's success at face value. They kept digging for years, and when they finally revealed her secret, they ruined her career.
It took off sort of the angle of being of a freak value. I didn't discuss my sexuality and I didn't think it was anybody's concern.
She didn't even tell the man who entered her life until 4 years later when he proposed.
And then you got married.
Yeah, I think that's what's sort of normal in a relationship when it's perfect and you want to feel that much more closer to a person.
Jewish multimillionaire Elias Vital decided not to tell his family about Caroline's past. She converted to Judaism, and in 1989, the Vital family splashed out on a high society wedding at London's Savoy Hotel. But the marriage only lasted 3 weeks, as long as the Acapulco honeymoon, when once again Caroline's cover was blown by a tabloid newspaper.
His family learnt about my past that way, and I think he was brainwashed, and he was saying, I feel I've been bewitched and I've woken up from a dream.
And then the bad dream began for Caroline. The marriage was annulled. It was a plunge she'd taken, knowing it wasn't legal. Even years before she'd met her husband, Caroline had started fighting for the right to marry as a woman, and it was still in progress.
I'm not legally a woman in this country. I'm still a man, which is quite pathetic, really.
Unable to change the sex listed on a birth certificate, British law does not allow the same sex to marry. In Britain, transsexuals can't exercise any rights as their new sex. They're left in legal limbo.
I can't be raped. If I commit a crime, I go to a man's prison. I think those are a little unjust for a government that allows their operations to be performed.
Caroline took her campaign to marry as a woman to the European Court of Human Rights. She argued that she was barred from marriage. She couldn't marry a man, and she couldn't realistically marry a woman. Recently, Caroline lost her case, but she says she'll keep on fighting. And while she may not be a woman in the eyes of the law, just for the eyes of the opposite sex, this year she'll be seen around the world in Playboy. She says, just to prove how sexy and attractive transsexuals can be. And her autobiography, My Story, will soon be on sale in Britain.
As you can see now, she's a complete person, a lovely, caring daughter. Very proud of her.
Should Caroline ever want a child of her own, she's even lined up her sister as a surrogate mother. She refuses to let her hopes fade for a normal life.
Would you like to get married again?
If I found the right man, yes.